Imagine climbing into a fighter that feels like it belongs to the future, even though the year is still the mid-1930s. That was the experience of pilots who flew the Polikarpov I-16. At a time when many air forces still relied on slow biplanes, the I-16 arrived as a shock. It was compact, fast, and revolutionary. The world's first mass-produced single-wing fighter with retractable landing gear. To the pilot, it felt raw and aggressive. The cockpit was cramped, visibility was limited, and the aircraft demanded constant attention. But once airborne, the I-16 revealed its strength. It could climb quickly, turn sharply, and hit hard in short, violent engagements. Early on, this gave Soviet pilots a real edge, especially during the Spanish Civil War, where the aircraft earned the nickname Mosca among Republican forces and Rata among its enemies. Armed with machine guns, and in later versions cannon, the I-16 was designed to strike first and escape fast. It wasn't built for long chases or high-altitude duels. Instead, it thrived in close combat, where quick reactions mattered more than comfort. Pilots learned to attack aggressively, unload firepower, and break away before the enemy could respond. But time moves fast in war. By the early 1940s, newer German fighters began to outclass the I-16 in speed, range, and altitude performance. Losses mounted, and the aircraft's limitations became impossible to ignore. Still, it didn't disappear overnight. Thousands remained in service, flying desperate missions in the opening years of the German invasion. The Polikarpov I-16 wasn't perfect, but it changed expectations forever. It forced the world to rethink what a fighter could be, and for a brief critical moment, it gave Soviet pilots a fighting chance. The Lavochkin story is one of survival under pressure. Early models like the WW2 were heavy, wooden fighters that struggled against German aircraft. Pilots respected their toughness, but they needed more speed, more climb, and more power. That turning point came with the LA-5. By replacing the underpowered inline engine with a powerful radial engine, Lavochkin transformed a struggling design into a true frontline predator. Suddenly, Soviet pilots had an aircraft that could meet German fighters on equal terms, especially at low and medium altitudes where most Eastern Front battles were decided. The LA-5 hit hard, climbed fast, and handled brutally well in combat. Later refinements led to the LA-7, one of the most effective Soviet fighters of the war. It combined speed, firepower, and reliability into a machine pilots trusted with their lives. These aircraft didn't just fight, they turned the tide. In the hands of experienced pilots, Lavochkin fighters helped push German air power back, reclaiming the skies one engagement at a time. If the Lavochkin fighters were bruisers, the Yak series were precision tools. Light, agile, and responsive, Yakovlev fighters were designed with the pilot in mind. They felt smooth on the controls and forgiving in combat, qualities that mattered when survival depended on split-second decisions. The Yak-1 laid the foundation, but the Yak-3 and Yak-9 perfected the formula. These fighters excelled at low altitude, where dogfights were fast, chaotic, and unforgiving. German pilots learned to respect them, especially in turning battles where the Yaks could dominate. Armed with cannon firing through the propeller hub and supporting machine guns, the Yak fighters delivered accurate, deadly fire. They weren't overloaded with armor or weight. Instead, they relied on speed, agility, and smart tactics. For many Soviet aces, the Yak wasn't just a machine. It was a partner. Easy to maintain, adaptable to different roles, and deadly in skilled hands, the Yak series became one of the most produced and most trusted fighters of the entire war. Now imagine flying straight into gunfire. On purpose, that was the job of the Ilyushin Il-2 Sturmovik. Built around a steel-armored shell, This aircraft wasn't designed to dogfight. It was built to destroy tanks, vehicles, artillery, and troops at terrifyingly close range. Pilots called it the flying tank, and the name fit. The Il-2 could absorb punishment that would tear other aircraft apart. Its heavy cannons, machine guns, rockets, and bombs turned battlefields into chaos. When Sturmoviks appeared low over the front lines, soldiers knew something devastating was coming. Early versions were vulnerable from the rear, leading to the two-seat Il-2 and later the Il-10, which added defensive firepower and improved survivability. These changes made the aircraft even deadlier. The Il-2 wasn't elegant. It was relentless. More than any other aircraft, it symbolized Soviet air power smashing directly into enemy ground forces. When historians talk about aircraft that truly shaped the outcome of the Eastern Front, the Sturmovik stands at the very top.